guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a couple of emails from some people with questions about my other cars, so figured no better time than the present to go ahead and throw a video together, just because we got a car show coming up tomorrow and I'm kind of getting them cleaned up and ready to go. So the one that's back behind me, that's a 1935 Studebaker RatRod. It is obviously, well, not much of it is 35 Studebaker anymore, but that's what it's titled as and what it's insured as, so we'll go with that. The other car that I've got is right back here. This is my 1982 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, but most of the questions that I've gotten are over here on the Studebaker, so I figure while I'm getting both of them ready for the car show tomorrow, I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick rundown on the Studebaker, what it's all about, and we'll touch base on the Cutlass at another time. It's got some stuff done to it too, but obviously not to the extent that the Studebaker is. So we'll get you flipped around and give you a quick walk around on the Studebaker, and we'll get it ready for the show tomorrow and see what we can make happen. It hasn't been off the lift other than for a few minutes, so that I could have a buddy pull a Jeep on that he was looking at buying for his daughter, and other than that it hasn't been driven in probably a year and a half or so. So we got maybe some kinks to work out. Hopefully. I've waited until the last minute now for the show tomorrow, but it is what it is. We'll see what we got. Alright, so like I said, it is titled as a 35 Studebaker Commander. The main body itself, that's basically the only part that's a 35 Studebaker Commander. It has been chopped at some point in its life. We're not 100% sure what the deal is. There was this mesh that's been put in, and the back doors were welded shut prior to when they turned it into what it is now, but it's got the mesh in the back window too. We're not sure if they were building it at some point for, you know, the Legends racing or whatever the stock car racing is, and then it ended up in a field. Not really sure, but when they got it, it was already chopped, already had the mesh in the back windows, so not real sure on the history of that. Like I said, that's the only part that's a 35. Obviously, if we come around to the front here, it's got the bullet nose from a 51 Studebaker. Headlights are from a 40s Chevy truck, I believe. The front suspension is 32 Ford, and it's got a disc brake setup from Speedway on it. The motor itself is a 53 Chevy 235 inline 6-cylinder. Transmission is out of a 60s Chevy truck. It's a 4-speed transmission with the granny low gearing on it. The frame itself is from a late 90s GMC or Chevy 3/4 ton truck. It's obviously been chopped up and heavily modified, but that's what its beginnings were. Rear axle is out of that same truck, so that is a dually rear axle in it, and the back wheels here are off of a Winnebago. So obviously, hopefully the lighting is cooperating. You can see there's some damage to the side of it here. The guy that I got it from, lifelong friend of the family, has been friends with my dad for many years. Him and another guy built it. The other guy passed away, so our friend took it over, finished up the build, had it for a couple of years, got T-boned by some girl that was texting and driving, and caused the damage that you see there. The door has just been, it's had something kind of created on the inside, and then the outer skin was just kind of thrown over it, so it kind of maintains the general look, but it's it can use some help. The dash on it is out of a Chevy 2, an early Chevy 2. Unfortunately, in the accident, it got crunched in and kind of buckled it up there. I replaced the gauges in it, straightened it out as best I could do with a hammer so that the gauges would fit in there, so I at least have a functioning gas gauge. But I mean, it's a rat rod. What do you expect? It's not going to be perfect. Seats are out of a Chevy S10. They've just got some Mexican blankets on them. Good enough. Steering column is out of a 60s Buick Electra. If we go around the back, taillights are some sort of 60s Buick, I forget. And I do have the details on what all this stuff is, but I just don't have it readily available. The rear deck lid is either the hood or the trunk lid, I forget which, off of a Nash. And then obviously they made all these panels to kind of blend it together, and then just have some self-tapping sheet metal screws to hold it all together. Kind of gives a little bit of a neat look. And then from what I understand, the roof skin that is up there is actually a 57 Chevy roof skin cut down and kind of molded to fit. So I haven't done a whole lot with it. The only things that I've done with it, it's got airbags in the back, but it also still has leaf springs. The airbags are just kind of a helper bag setup. But the only things I've done with it is it had some cheap compressor on it that would take forever to fill the bags. So I went in, added I think that's a 3-gallon aluminum tank there, and put in a better compressor. Alright, so the best part about these rat rods is getting them ready for car shows. It's super simple. Like I said, I already checked the oil. The only other thing is clean the windshield because it's still got bugs on it from 2 years ago. Done. Alright, let's see if she'll start. Well, it doesn't look like the battery made it, so I'm going to throw a charger on it and we'll go from there. Alright, our battery position isn't exactly ideal on this, so we're going to try to charge it off of the starter, or where the wires hit the starter there. It's been boiling for a little bit here at 40 amps or so, so we'll see if it's got enough juice to fire it off now. It's got gas up to the carburetor, so it shouldn't be too far off. Alright, we'll let her warm up here for a little bit, and then we'll get her back out into the sun. Alright, I got you guys one camera strapped onto the dash in case I lose you off the windshield. It doesn't end up, you know, going on down the road. We'll take it for a quick spin, run over to the local AutoZone. Got to pick up some cleaning stuff for the Oldsmobile there for the show tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see how it runs down the road and make sure everything's good to go. So, not going to be able to hear much or anything while we're running down the road with wind noise and every other noise that goes on here, but whatever. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
apologize. We got to the show, and about the time I got all set up and everything, I realized I forgot to bring any other batteries to be able to film any of the show itself, but it wasn't really the reason for the video. Main reason for the video is show you guys, yeah, it runs, it drives. I've gotten a couple emails about it, questioning it, and yeah, it works. Honestly, I don't get to enjoy it as much as I had hoped when I bought it. I'm not much of one to buy other people's projects that are already completed. This is kind of an exception, and it was mainly because it's a good friend of the family that had built it and offered it to me at what I felt was a reasonable price for the amount of work that's been put into it. That being said, I did put a for sale sign in it at the show today. Got a couple of people that were interested, but I don't think anything's going to come of it. Rat rods are kind of a hard sell. You know, a lot of people are like me. If they want one, they want to be the one to build it, and that's kind of where I am with it. I like the actual building of stuff and working on stuff, and there's just, I mean, other than a few repairs and slight modifications here and there, they're just, as far as I'm concerned, this one's done for me. So I threw a for sale sign up on it. I'm not going to actively push selling it. You know, I'm not advertising it all over the place or anything like that. If I sell it, I sell it. If I don't, whatever. I will, the show that we went to wasn't really a rat rod show. There's kind of a mix of everything there. I do hope to take it to Vintage Torque Fest here next month, and there'll probably be some more interest at that show, I would assume. But like I said, if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's fine. But just wanted to throw this up there for you guys to kind of answer some questions about it, show you what it is. Hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Got some other videos coming up. I think I'll do one on the Cutlass that I've got. And then I've got a buddy of mine that's got a rat rod that's kind of a stalled out project that he had purchased from somebody. And we're gonna maybe tinker with that a little bit, see if we can at least get it running. He's kind of lost interest in it and is thinking about selling it, but I told him, hey, we should at least see if we can get it running, because if nothing else, it's easier to sell a running vehicle than a non-running vehicle, or it may spark his interest back up in it. So we'll see how that goes. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, get the notifications, and you'll know when we got other stuff coming up. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.